My name is E, and I'm a member of Anonymous, or, as Chloe likes to believe, some rando claiming to be anonymous. If you're new and have never heard of me, I have been an active member working with multiple online communities in Anonymous for almost 3 years now, and I don't just make expose videos on comedians like some people like to believe. This video is a part 3 and the final video to a series I've been working on since early September, where I exposed Chloe Maddren, a supposed professional comedian and podcaster who committed fraud, stole $10,000 from her followers, and used deceptive practices by lying and misleading them into believing what they were buying was sexual content on her Onlyfans. So, if you haven't already seen my first 2 videos and would like to know the full context in detail with photo evidence confirming Chloe's a pathological liar, feel free to watch those videos before this one. That being said, in my last video, when addressing Chloe personally, I stated that if she continued lying and refused to apologize to the people she scammed, I would make a final video. And boy oh boy, do we have a lot to go over today, because since posting my second video, a lot has happened. Chloe left multiple comments on my second video. One of her dumb comedian friends attempted to call me out on Twitter for my video. A bunch of new people who used to follow Chloe came forward to tell me their stories about how she scammed them. And of course, the biggest piece of news has to be Chloe going on the Hookup podcast to talk about her OnlyFans scandal. There's a lot to go over, so let's just jump right into this fun shit show. But a quick warning for Chloe, because I know she's watching this. In my last 2 videos, despite what you might think, I wasn't being mean to you. Yes, I was critical and made several remarks towards your lack of intelligence, as well as the lack of effort you put into your podcast, but I wasn't mean. Now, I'm not holding back. I'm going to be extremely critical, and yes, I'm going to be very mean to you. So buckle up, princess. To quickly summarize my last video, I shared screenshots of a conversation between Chloe and I that we exchanged over on Instagram. She gave me her statement based on the controversy. She shared photo evidence with me to back up her claims of never misleading or lying to her followers. I did a full analysis of the inconsistencies in her story, and then I showed irrefutable evidence of the conversations between Chloe and her followers where she lied about the content she was producing. Since that video was posted, it gained a lot of attention. So much so that on December 8th, 13 days after I posted my second video, Chloe finally responded in my comment section to her podcast account. Before I read the comments, I want to present a quick fun fact to anyone who makes YouTube videos. If someone comments on your video and quickly deletes it, as Chloe did on my video, Google will always send you an email of every single comment you've ever received on one of your videos. I learned this fun fact when I made my last expose on Chandler Goodwin, and her supposed manager, John Daly, left a comment on my video after filing a copyright claim, which, shocker, my video even after 2 years is still up, because YouTube agreed my content didn't go against the terms of service. The first comment left on my video by Chloe states, "Hey, Chloe here. Would love to see the screenshots of these alleged conversations, as I have never said those things to strangers. That's wild." I saw the notification maybe an hour after it was commented. I clicked on it to give a lengthy response, so I could explain to Chloe exactly why that statement was false, and if she watched my video, she would know I had already explained in full detail as to why she did in fact say those things to her followers. But when I pressed the arrow to add my comment, it had been deleted, and I didn't delete it, so who else but Quagmire? Luckily for me, Chloe left several other comments responding to commenters on my video where they called her a hypocrite or disingenuous, so let's take a quick look at those statements left by Chloe. In the first response, where this commenter is calling Chloe out for being a hypocrite, because in one of the DMs I showed in my video, she tells them they don't deserve to follow her if they can't sit through an hour-long podcast. But in the conversation between she and I, Chloe states she doesn't have time to watch my entire video about her scamming people. Chloe responds to the commenter by stating, "I absolutely did not tell someone they don't deserve to follow me. I am riddled with self-doubt and couldn't imagine having such an inflated ego. I, like most comics, struggle with just basic self-promotion without feeling like a twat." Well, I'm sorry to tell you this, Chloe, but I'm about to make you look like the dumbest twat in the world, because clearly you have no fucking idea what self-promotion means. The literal definition of self-promotion is when someone promotes or publicizes oneself or their activities. This includes sharing their skills, experience, and or achievements to improve their reputation, gain visibility, and or advance in their career. Chloe's whole fucking online presence on Instagram and YouTube is self-promotion because she posts about her stand-up and podcasts, and that's not even including the fact that she said it herself in her first video promoting hot girl stuff that she's an independent artist.
It's for sale because I want to use the money to finance a little tour so that I can get all around the world because I am an independent artist and shit's expensive.
Chloe, if that statement is true, wouldn't that mean you would have no problem with publicizing yourself or your activities on social media, since that's pretty much a major part of being an independent artist? I mean, if you ask me, I'd consider this statement another one of your many lies when defending yourself, and I believe this commenter would agree with me, since they also responded by saying, "I don't believe you." But of course, you also responded to that as well, didn't you, Chloe? Chloe responds, "That's fair, you don't know me. I'd love to prove myself. If I had any of the Instagram handles, I could screen record to show any conversations, but I've looked up keywords in my DMs and can't find anything close to these accusations. Also, second time commenting this. I don't know where my reply went before." First of all, Chloe, are you accusing me of deleting comments? That's cute. But I'm not you, and I don't delete comments. I encourage people to vocalize their opinions, and I enjoy conversing with others, even if it's negative criticism. But I also understand it's one thing for me to say I didn't delete it, and it's another thing for me to prove I didn't delete it. I didn't receive any notifications that you responded to this individual twice, as you can clearly see from the notification on both YouTube and YouTube Studio. However, if you actually read YouTube's terms of service about community guidelines, you would know that due to YouTube's automated moderation system, which is generated by AI, your initial comment could potentially get flagged for violating community guidelines. It will be held for review or automatically deleted after 60 days, and your second comment may or may not pass the filter. A fucking Google search could have told you this if you were genuinely curious as to why your original comment wasn't showing. And if you clicked on newest in the comment section on my video, that is where most comments that get filtered will appear, and if you look at the screenshot, you can see both your comments are still visible. So, I didn't delete them, dumbass. But that's not what matters. What matters is your comment, which I actually responded to. I'm not going to read this response in its entirety, because it's super fucking long. But you're more than welcome to read it yourself if you are interested, as I pinned the original conversation on my second video. I told Chloe the exact timestamp in my video, which was 30 minutes and 10 seconds, that I had already provided irrefutable evidence of her lying about never advertising her OnlyFans as sexual content to her followers. Chloe's username on Instagram is @ChloeMaddren, which matches the username on top of the messages between she and I, and the messages between her followers before she blocked them. And if you go to the search bar on Instagram, there are no other accounts posing to be Chloe Maddren or using her profile picture. I shared the fact that Instagram does not allow people to have the same username. So, unless someone else had access to her account and was sending messages to her followers dating all the way back to May 2024, the only person capable of sending the messages I provided in my video to her followers would be her. I also explain that her claim of searching keywords in her messages would require her to know the person's Instagram handle, which she admits she doesn't have, because she can't just type a phrase into the search engine on the top of her messages to search for keywords. Chloe would actually have to go to the message she shared with the person, click the top of the username, and type the full sentence she's looking for in the search bar. And if she can't find the message, the logical answer is she deleted her messages after blocking the people that sexually harassed her. I end my response by explaining the reason I cropped out the username of the people she sent her link to was because of her track record of exploiting strangers on the internet for personal gratification as well as gain attention, and I explained the severity of her actions by telling her that under Australia's consumer laws, the ACL applies to social media influencers and businesses when promoting products and services. The ACL also protects consumers to ensure fair trading practices, and influencers are obligated to disclose any and all paid partnerships, sponsorships, or endorsements. Furthermore, influencers cannot make misleading claims about a product or use deceptive advertising practices, and the Australian Competition and Consumer Commission can investigate complaints about businesses and influencers that don't comply with the ACL. And if they find that the advertising is non-compliant with the ACL, the business or influencer can be fined of upwards to $10,000 and or 18 months in prison. Isn't it funny how that $10,000 continues to follow you? I'm assuming Chloe didn't like the response I gave her when presenting the facts, because she didn't respond after that, which makes sense because clearly she knew she was lying and didn't want to dig herself into a bigger hole than she had already dug for herself by lying about not sending her followers the messages and falsely advertising her Onlyfans as sexual content. The second interaction between Chloe and one of the commenters on my video, this person asks, why didn't she just tell the truth? Remember that fun little fact about community guidelines and YouTube's terms of service, and all you have to do is click newest in the comments section if your comment gets flagged and appears like it was deleted? Well, if Chloe had clicked newest in the comment section, she would know she left the same comment 3 times in her response to being called disingenuous and asking why she didn't just tell the truth. Chloe once again defends herself by stating, I was being sincere in my replies to the original poster, and I've never sent such awfully rude or mean comments to anyone in my DMs. I don't understand why this person is doing this. I can't even have a conversation with them as they blocked me on Instagram and are deleting my comments here. I have screen recordings of our convos and can send any other necessary proof to anyone that DMs me on Insta. I have searched for keywords from their accusations of me DMs and nothing is coming up. I can show those, or even better, look up any Insta handles of the people claiming this to show our convo history. I really never claimed to be any good at what I do. I'm still very new and I'm just trying my best. And I would never berate anyone or suggest I'm better than anyone. I don't want to let this get to me, as I know it's just silly and made up, but you guys have no idea how genuinely upsetting it is when all I've ever done is try to make people happy. I didn't even want to entertain this response because it's just lies. Reading it almost gave me a fucking stroke because the grammar is terrible, and I can't be sympathetic towards anyone for lying. First of all, you weren't being sincere when we were conversing through DMs. Let's be honest. Sure, you were polite when you could have very easily told me to go fuck myself, but you chose to engage in a conversation, and instead of telling the truth, you lied, whereas I provided actual evidence in my last video of the inconsistencies in your story, as well as the screenshots you sent me. So, you weren't being sincere because you weren't honest, and you absolutely were not being sincere when you went on the Hookup podcast talking about our conversation without providing any evidence. If you had screen recordings of our conversation and could send any other necessary proof to anyone that DMs you on Instagram, then why didn't you show that proof you are claiming you have when you went on their podcast? Don't worry, We'll be talking about that whole conversation later in this video. Second, yes, I did block both your main and podcast account because I didn't want to engage in a conversation with you when I knew you were just going to lie to me again. Why would I want to waste my time on someone who isn't going to be honest with me, when my only intentions when reaching out to you in the first place was to listen to your story and possibly help you in this situation? Also, fun fact, blocking someone isn't a crime, and if you had blocked the people who were sending you inappropriate messages instead of misleading or lying to them, this whole situation could have been avoided. Chloe, if you really want to talk, here's my email. I'm most likely not going to answer you because I don't give a shit, but feel free to vent, sweetheart. Third of all, congratulations. You know how to screen record, but so do I. I don't really think it's necessary, as I've already screenshotted our entire conversation and made an entire video talking about it, but here you go. This is the entire screen recording of the interaction between Chloe and I, where you can clearly see Chloe's Instagram handle is at Chloe Maddren and matches with the messages I've showed in my previous video between Chloe and her followers. Fourth of all, I didn't delete your comments. YouTube's moderation system flagged them. Why? I don't know, but here it is again. The 3 same fucking comments I already showed. And while we're on the topic, I also explained already why you can't search for keywords in your DMs unless you click on the actual conversation between you and the person. You most likely deleted the DMs and that's why you can't find them. And I'm not giving you the Instagram handles because I'm not going to give you or your 172k followers the chance to harass them just because they told the truth and you didn't. Well, shit. 172k followers. Damn. Didn't you used to have 175k followers? I guess it never registered when making your September 3rd video that lying and stealing money from strangers on the internet would inevitably become your hubris. Lastly, you weren't born yesterday. You're not new to social media. You're not new to stand-up. And you're not new to making content. You've been doing this shit for years. So that little attempt to get attention and sympathy from a stranger who most likely doesn't give a flying fuck about you by stating, "I don't want to let this get to me, as I know it's just silly and made up, but you guys have no idea how genuinely upsetting it is when all I've ever done is try to make people happy." Bitch, you fucking stole money from people, and then your dumbass not only made a post calling it a prank to get attention, thinking you're being big brain like Lex fucking Luthor, you also went on a podcast to brag about it for 10 minutes straight, once again thinking you're this smart person that came up with a genius plan to make a profit for personal gain because people were commenting on your appearance and that hurt your feelings. Chloe, can you hear what I'm hearing? It's the world's tiniest violin playing as you attempt to get sympathy and attention from strangers on the internet because you're such a narcissistic piece of shit that if you were to go one day without painting yourself as a victim or receive some form of validation, you won't be able to sleep at night. Boo-hoo, cry me a fucking river. If you want to make people happy, why don't you start off by offering a sincere apology to your followers for lying to them instead of advertising your brilliant manifesto on a YouTube channel with over 1 million subscribers, but only has a 0.04 engagement on the video where you're calling them trolls and exploiting the situation for attention. Just some fabulously friendly advice. Before we move on to the main event, which is Chloe's appearance on the Hookup podcast, where she talks about me, let's talk about a very fun interaction I had with Chloe's friend, Andrew Hastings. This dumbass thought it would be cute to comment on one of my posts where I promoted my video about Chloe on Twitter. Andrew writes, "This is the biggest loser shit I've ever seen in my life. For your own sake, you need to get it together." Naturally, I see the notification, click his profile, notice he's an Australian comic, go to his Instagram, screenshot the fact that he and Chloe both follow each other, and I reply, "I would argue associating with someone who believes it's okay to steal money from the people supporting their career and lie about it is some pretty big loser shit." I also mentioned that he should review the evidence before speaking hypocrisy fueled by social bias because his friend is involved, and I attached a photo of Chloe following him on Instagram confirming their friendship. I'm sure my new favorite critic Andrew was probably confused by such a big word like hypocrisy or the meaning of social bias. But nonetheless, Andrew still felt the need to stick up for his friend Chloe and responds by informing me he has heaps of friends and asking if I have any friends or if they're where I do shit like this. I think what bothered me the most about this comment wasn't asking if I have friends or not, but more so the usage of the word heaps, as if he believed that was a powerful adverb to express the fact that he supposedly has a large amount of friends. But, if you'd like me to answer the question, sure buddy, I have heaps of friends, you illiterate fuck. I respond to his comment by telling him his response was an interesting deflection because instead of acknowledging his own hypocrisy by associating with someone who believes it's okay to steal money from the people supporting their career, he thought it'd be clever to ignore my statement with a slight jab by insinuating someone who provides irrefutable evidence against his friend would have no friends of their own, with the very obvious intentions of getting a negative reaction from me. I also congratulate Andrew on having heaps of friends, but that I also don't understand the correlation between the topics discussed in my video and his opinion of it being considered the biggest loser shit he'd ever seen in his life. Now, I don't know Andrew personally, but come on. You really think my video exposing someone for lying and going against Australia's consumer laws is the biggest loser shit you've ever seen in your life? Because I would argue there are much bigger losers on the internet than me who actually say and do dumb shit. Andrew, buddy, listen. Here's my advice. Maybe you should finally cut the umbilical cord from your mother's placenta and step outside this perfect life you must have obviously built yourself if you truly believe my video is the biggest loser shit you've ever seen, when there are actual losers that do terrible things like sexually abuse minors, commit genocide and murder innocent lives for sport, or commit illegal acts such as fraud for personal gain. Andrew provides a very simple response that he wasn't going to watch my video, so I respond by telling him he's even more dumb than I assumed, because instead of actually reviewing the evidence and making a conclusion on his own about the situation, he was basing his opinions solely on emotions, which is not a debate. It's just a conversation that goes nowhere. I also inform him that I'm not interested in entertaining a conversation with someone who isn't educated on the subject or seen the facts. He didn't like that response, because once again, instead of actually acknowledging the valid points I was making, he responds by asking, who said anything about a debate, and stating he believes it's loser shit to dress up in a Guy Fawkes mask and harass comedians. Now look here, Andy boy. First of all, I don't just dress up in a Guy Fawkes mask and harass comedians. I also dress up in a Spider-Man costume on the weekends when your dad's not home and I'm fucking your mom. Oh shit! Bazinga! Would you like some ice for that burn, bitch? Second, if you actually paid attention in middle school, you would know the definition of the word debate is when two people are having a discussion on a particular topic where the opposing sides present arguments based on their opinions. For example, When conversing through the comment section of this specific post, you presented the opinion that my video was the biggest loser shit you've ever seen in your life because you believed it was, and I quote, loser shit to dress up in a Guy Fawkes mask and harass comedians. Whereas my rebuttal would be, it is my opinion that based off your response of not having any actual knowledge on this specific topic because you refuse to review the evidence presented against your friend and you're clearly basing your judgments on a social bias, your opinions should be considered completely invalid since you know nothing about this topic, but more importantly, you're a fucking idiot. Also, if you actually click the link to my YouTube channel or even scroll down to see the rest of my post, you would know I don't just go after comedians. I talk about other things and have been very critical towards politicians or the Church of Scientology, just to name a few. But, you know, have your little moment. Enjoy feeling like you really showed me with your intellectuality, even though it'd probably be more accurate to describe you and your heaps of friends that probably saw your responses as idiocracy. I'm not even going to try and help our new friend Andrew by defining the word idiocracy. I respond to his tweet by informing him that harassment would imply the motive behind my videos about Chloe would be a means to intimidate or threaten. But that statement is false, because if he actually watched it, he would know my videos are meant as an informative piece. I only presented the evidence given to me by Chloe herself and her followers, while also criticizing her shitty style of comedy and low effort in production for a podcast. However, if he wanted to believe my videos were meant as a means of harassment, that was his choice, and I also informed him he can have the last word if he wanted. Andrew states that he doesn't believe that my intentions were not to intimidate or threaten, and that he doesn't believe motivation determines whether or not something is harassment. He also claims the harasser doesn't decide if what they're doing is harassment or not, and he ends this declaration of chivalry for his good friend Chloe Maddren by stating he believes this is loser shit and he hopes I find peace. I certainly have found peace, Andy. Thank you. But I owe you an apology because I made a mistake. I said you could have the last word if you wanted, and I wasn't going to respond. But I got greedy, and I couldn't help myself because I thought we were having fun. So, Andrew, I'm sorry for not allowing you to have the last word. But I won't apologize for that mom joke. I know you advertised being a sweet little mommy's boy, but if I may take a page from Chloe's book.
Like, don't love how we got there, maybe think about how you speak to strangers online in future.
I tell Andrew that I'm fully aware he's not the smartest because he bases all of his opinions on feelings, and I explain that my videos aren't considered harassment, but they're actually critical expose pieces, and under YouTube's strict harassment policies, my videos do not go against the YouTube's terms of service and would be categorized as informative reporting, journalism, or even educational if you want me to actually put it into a category. I also educate Andrew that criticism is not a crime, but lying about a product you're advertising to your consumer basis is actually a third-degree offense under Australia's consumer laws. I didn't forget about you, Chloe, and trust me, I'll get right back to criticizing you when I'm done putting this jackass in his place. That was the end of our conversation. And what I find most funny about this whole experience, other than laughing the entire time at a complete dumbass, it's extremely hypocritical for Andrew to place judgment on me by claiming my intentions were to intimidate or threaten Chloe when his friend literally stole $10,000 from hundreds of strangers over the internet. And I've actually been very vocal towards people that I do not condone any form of harassment or violence towards Chloe. I have made it very clear to people that the act of violence or harassment is a crime, and despite Chloe's actions of scamming her followers and committing fraud for personal gain, which is in fact a crime, there are better and smarter ways to confront a criminal, which is talking about the situation as much as possible, because criticism is not an illegal act. Before we move on to the main event, I would like to end this segment with a bit of friendly advice to Mr. Hastings, or really anyone who posts about their life on social media and is watching this video. The next time you comment some petty dumb shit because someone provides criticism about your friend, remember that your social media is public and you post a lot of personal stuff, and some rando wearing a Guy Fawkes mask could use that information when providing criticism. For example, based on our one conversation, your personality is shit, you're not very funny, you're definitely not educated, so how you landed someone as pretty as your wife absolutely amazes me. What do you guys talk about? Your big news?
Hey everyone, Andrew Hastings here. I know things have been a little bit quiet for me lately, so I just wanted to make a little post to let you know that I do have big things coming. Stay tuned, keep an eye on my socials, you know big things are coming. Since I did my post yesterday talking about the big things that I got coming up, my inbox flooded. Guys, huge update on the things I've got coming, the big things. Guys, it is only a few more days till you find out exactly when these big things are coming. Big things coming tomorrow. Bit of bad news today, I won't actually be able to announce the announcement date for the big things I have coming today. Well, look who's back. Hastings is back. They can't stop me. I'm telling you, big things back on. You know I got big things coming. Now, more than ever, big things coming. The world's about to change all over again. Big things coming. 7 days, October 1st, big things coming. We're counting down, baby. 6 days till the announcement. Big things coming.
I bet it's really fucking huge, and no, that wasn't an innuendo implying Andrew has a huge penis. It truly is an interesting statement when people say, be careful what you post online. Let's move on, because holy fuck am I excited for this. Hi Chloe, how are you feeling? I know you didn't ask, but I'm feeling really good right now. Views have been up, lots of positive engagement on my YouTube videos, subscriber count has also been growing at a pretty rapid speed, and a shit ton of people are talking about your little act of criminal activity, you little scoundrel you. This of course includes the Hookup podcast. Want to talk about it? That was rhetorical. It doesn't actually matter what you want because we're going to talk about it anyway, and if you thought I was super critical towards your friend Andrew, you have no fucking clue what I have in store for you. But first, we gotta address the elephant in the room, and no, I'm not talking about you, Chloe. That's what you wanted, right? For me to criticize your appearance like everyone else does by calling you fat, ugly, or whatever else they say about you so you can weaponize it as a defense to paint yourself as the victim? No offense, but I prefer making fun of your intellectuality by calling you stupid, so I apologize for referring to you as an elephant. It was just an easy joke, and I figured you needed something better as a defense than he's a liar with 11 followers and I never scammed anyone. I'm just trying my best, and all I want to do is make people happy. The elephant I'm referring to is DMCA, as well as fair use laws, since I know I could potentially receive an infringement claim for violating intellectual property and will be reviewing portions of the podcast. The fair use doctrine promotes freedom of expression by permitting the unlicensed use of copyrighted material without permission from the copyright holder, typically for purposes such as criticism, commentary, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, or research under certain conditions as determined by courts based on a set of factors. It provides a defense against copyright infringement claims when using portions of copyrighted work for transformative purposes. Triple J and the Hookup podcast, as of January 7th, 2025, at 1:10 p.m. EST, provide no legal disclaimers that their podcast is exclusive content protected by DMCA or provide any legal disclaimers, their podcast cannot be used for transformative purposes. To put it simply, know your laws, children, and nana nana poo poo, ha ha, I win. So, on December 10th, a brand new video titled Onlyfans Trolling with comedian Chloe Maddren was posted to the YouTube channel Triple J. I watched this video in its entirety, and I have lots of notes. So, if you haven't already watched it, don't bother. It's horribly scripted and fucking sucks. Now, before I get shit for that comment, I'm not being mean. I'm being critical. Because I've watched every single episode of the Friend Request podcast, as well as clips of Chloe's stand-up, and she has never been this prepared in her life to ask or answer questions. Her entire podcast is random nonsense, followed by occasionally looking at a notepad full of questions for her guest, and the only video I've ever found of Chloe that even comes close to her being prepared to talk about something is this video that was posted to the YouTube channel YeahMad, titled Why It Mattered Kendrick Lamar to Pimp a Butterfly. And you know what? I kinda like this video. There were only two things that bothered me about it. The first being, what the fuck is this lighting, Tanya Safi? You shot and edited this video, so what, you left your LED light at home that day? I looked at a lot of your stuff, and you do a fantastic job editing the content you work on, but the lighting in this video is so bad that every time the camera pans over to Chloe, it looks like you guys filmed this during your free period in a high school photography class. My second critique would be, really? The white girl from Brisbane, Queensland is producing a video for an online music and youth culture magazine focused primarily on independent news, reviews, and future articles? Who do you think you are? Some YouTube essay bro?
These YouTube essay bros.
I'm getting off track, but I'm having lots of fun, so a little detour here and there never hurt nobody. And trust me, there will be more detours. The Hookup podcast is hosted by Pip and D, and they talk about love, sex, and relationships. A very original concept that no one has ever done before. So don't you dare look up Doing It with Hannah Winton, The Love Lab with Kevin Anthony and Celine Remy, Private Parts Unknown with Courtney Kokak, Sex, Love, and Addiction with Dr. Rob, Where Should We Begin with Esther Perel, The Good Sex Project with Melody Thomas, Why Don't You Date Me with Headgum and Nicole Byer, Foreplay Radio hosted by Cloud 10, Death, Sex, and Money with Anna Sale, Deeper Doing with Ken Page, Multi-Amory with Emily Matlick, Dietger Winston, and Chase Lindgren, Why Are People Into That with Tina, Doing It Together with Joanna Denton, Sex and Psychology with Dr. Justin LaMiller, or Relationship Advice with Chase Kotzerlitz. Should I keep going? I've got about 47 more written down, or would you rather just pip these nuts? Thank you. I 100% do not encourage anyone to comment this joke on these professional host social media accounts because that's harassment. But more importantly, it's my fucking joke. Now, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. The first 5 minutes of this episode is pretty boring. But at the 5-minute and 31 mark, Dee makes a comment about the Bella Thorne controversy in an attempt to compare Chloe's situation to that of Bella Thorne's.
There's been such a big conversation in, like online and about OnlyFans and the whole thing that happened with Bella Thorne. Like, what was it, 2020, a couple of years ago, where she basically like misled. Well, that was the thing, where she misled people and she like broke OnlyFans and like made $2 million off people signing up expecting to see sex work.
Yes.
And then did it. And so.
Yes, you could argue what Bella Thorne did could be considered fraud by misleading her followers into paying for her OnlyFans with the expectations of seeing sex work. But you're also not explaining the full story. and you're speaking out of context to appear smart, when in reality, you just look fucking stupid. I'm not going to go into the full story or the conspiracy theory surrounding Bella Thorne, but the major controversy surrounding that specific situation wasn't necessarily if she was using false advertising practices. The big issue with the Bella Thorne controversy was thousands of people requesting refunds all at once because they believed they were scammed, and OnlyFans being forced to process costs because they were responsible for covering the fees associated with refunds. Eventually, only days after Bella Thorne joined the website, OnlyFans was forced to change their terms of service, while also stating it had nothing to do with Bella Thorne in an attempt to protect her from backlash. The changes in their terms of service created major backlash, specifically from the sex worker community, because in their terms of service, OnlyFans changed a lot of rules, which included creators were only allowed to charge $50 for exclusive content, as well as capping tips at $100. And they also changed the way creators would receive payments. So, instead of receiving a weekly payment like the previous terms of service, creators were now receiving payments monthly. That was the major issue with the Bella Thorne controversy. And I bet you wouldn't be too happy if your main source of income was only coming in once a month as opposed to weekly or bi-weekly. So, if you wanted to break the stereotype of blondes being dumb, you could have very easily explained all this on your podcast, where you advertise being educated on these types of topics. After this fun interaction, Dee makes another statement about how everyone was so supportive towards Chloe's OnlyFans, but there were also people commenting and expressing to Chloe how they felt scammed.
Like, I feel like the conversation's obviously changed a bit now because everyone was so positive about yours, but then there was still people in the comments being like, you misled me, like, blah, blah, blah.
I find that comment funny because, yes, there are a lot of supportive comments under her September 3rd post admitting to stealing $10,000 from her followers, but there's also been a major decline in her analytics, which includes losing thousands of followers. She has received way more criticism on a daily basis for scamming her followers as opposed to praising her for her OnlyFans. Her views on her podcast are barely receiving a 2% engagement compared to her 18,000 subscribers. And on top of that, the popular opinion, if you were to look at the comments on my videos or the DMs I've received about Chloe committing fraud, would very much so disagree with that statement. Everyone was so supportive. For example, if that bitch comes to Houston, she's gonna have a round of buckshot waiting for her. Fat slut should get raped in all her holes. If Chloe actually comes to America, she's gonna end up on the local news for a mysterious disappearance. I'll make sure of it. Narcissistic, fat, mid-ginger who deserves to die. Hope she kills herself. She should kill herself. I'll get my money back from her one way or another. I've already been to prison, and that shit don't scare me. Fat whore should just kill herself. Hypothetically speaking, how long would someone go to jail for first-degree murder if that fat bitch actually decides to come to America? If I were her, I wouldn't even step outside because you never know who's gonna jump your ass. If you're really anonymous, how do you access the dark web? I want to put a hit on Chloe. She doesn't deserve to live. That bitch cannot continue getting away with this. She's going to need extra security because I'm not going to pay for her show. I'm just going to go right in, sit casually down, and then I'm going to attack her, and I don't care if I go to jail. She cannot keep getting away with this. You should join Reddit community. We greatly appreciate your expertise on the Chloe Maddren situation. We collect information on everything about her, collect information on everyone she's close to, and we're planning on confronting her in Houston and New York. There are approximately 137 active members she's scammed, and we're all planning on meeting for those shows. We currently have 6 members in Brisbane that feed us personal information, and we will continue updating the community. Love this series, and please consider joining us in the fight against Chloe Maddren. Gonna bury that fat pig 6 feet under. Ugly stupid whore thinks this is a joke, but the people she scammed are going to have the last laugh when I'm done with her. She thinks she's so fucking funny, but the biggest joke will be when I skull fuck her corpse. I don't know why anyone would even want to pay for her OnlyFans or fuck her. You know that pussy smells like bacon and sweat, and her boyfriend looks like the fat kid eating the cake in Matilda. From a woman's perspective, she deserves all the hate, and whatever happens to her, it's her fault. She's giving the rest of us that actually depend on OnlyFans and make a living on the platform look terrible, and this is the Bella Thorne controversy all over again. People like her don't deserve a place on our platform, and that whole interview she did on the Triple J made me want to walk up to her and punch her in the face. This is not a joke or a prank to the rest of us that depend on maintaining a positive relationship with our followers. It's bad enough we have to worry about leaks from strangers stealing our content. Now we have to worry about dumb comedians ruining our reputation and creating a non-safe workspace for us. Fuck her. Talentless slut can kill herself and nobody would even care. She thinks she's a witch, so let's burn her. Can't wait to read the posts about her getting murdered over a prank. The only way to cancel someone like her is by canceling her life. She needs to worry less about her shitty podcast and worry more about the people who want to see her dead for stealing their money. Anyone still planning on associating with her should know they'll also be receiving a target on their back. Die, Chloe, die. Fucking ugly ass, fat fucking slut, disgusting ran through, trashy ass, shitty podcaster. Unoriginal, poor excuse for a comedian slut. They should send her cum dumpster trash to men's prison. She can get raped all day, every day, and get what's coming to her for thinking she's better than everyone else. Fucking cunt. More like dead stinky cunt. Seriously, D. You're not doing the stereotype about blondes being dumb any justice by talking just to talk. Sometimes, if you have nothing to actually contribute to a conversation, it's best to just stay quiet and listen if you don't want to look like an idiot. Chloe, in response, admits to not feeling bad about lying and scamming people, all because they commented sexual things towards her appearance, which isn't a crime, it's just fucking disgusting. And the simple solution to not receive those kinds of messages would be to block them. Then, Chloe finally publicly makes a statement in regards to my videos, which we are now going to finally react to in its entirety.
Some people did feel misled, so much so that some rando claiming to be anonymous.
Well, shit. Some rando claiming to be anonymous? That's a very interesting way of phrasing it. It's not very creative, but it's funnier than the usual comparisons I've received over the span of 3 years. I've gotten the Joker, Vladimir Putin at one point, and more commonly the Riddler, but I do think rando is funny. Good job. You finally made me laugh for the first time. The issue I have with this statement is I don't believe Chloe even knows what Anonymous is, which is a decentralized international activist and hacktivist community filled with all kinds of different people involved in all kinds of different subjects. Some of us are hackers, and some of us are just activists that talk about corrupt individuals involved in committing illegal acts. We have no leader, we answer to no one, and if you believe in our cause and want to be a member of Anonymous, then you are Anonymous. But I get it, you're probably not happy with that answer, are you, Chloe? I'll show you exactly why you'll regret doubting I'm actually a member of Anonymous, but you'll have to be patient, because I'm not giving that shit up front. You gotta sit through the rest of this video and earn it.
You guys remember Anonymous? Guy Fawkes?
Oh,
mask?
yeah.
He made like an expose on YouTube about it. And it was like, scam artist Chloe Maddren.
I didn't refer to you as a scam artist. If I were to call you a scam artist, or even a con artist, that would imply you have a brain and are smart enough to deceive people using psychological manipulation. No. I've only ever referred to you as a fucking stupid criminal, because that's what you are. And in my videos, I provided facts about how you committed fraud by explaining consumer laws. I provided irrefutable evidence of a conversation between you and your former followers, where you lied to them about selling nudes before blocking them. And I also proved the statement you gave me based off the photo evidence you provided did not match up with the timeline of events, and there were multiple inconsistencies in your story that did not match up with the actual events. So, to quickly summarize, I proved you wrong, called you out on your lies, and now you're upset because you're starting to realize your actions have consequences. But if you had just admitted to what you did, apologized, made a statement that you would never do anything like this again, and stopped advertising that you stole money from your followers, I would have let this whole thing go. And I wouldn't be making this video calling you or your little friends out for all your lies and being fucking stupid.
Well, he messaged me as well and was like, would love to hear your side of the story. And I'm like, yeah, sure, babe. Sent him a bunch of screenshots and was like basically proving that I wasn't misleading anyone. I wasn't saying, here are nudes.
Yeah.
You know, here is porn. I was like, no, very clear. And he was like, okay, well, it seems like you might be innocent.
I never said I thought you were innocent in response to you sending me your screenshots. And if you provided the messages to whoever edits this podcast, like you claim you have and are able to do, you could have shown on the screen what I actually said to you, which was, I appreciate you telling me your side of the story. I explained how Anonymous operates based on the facts and truth. I told you I wasn't 100% convinced by the statement you provided. I reassured you that I understood where you were coming from, and I told you that out of respect, I would stop advertising my original expose video on you while I continued researching and speaking with people coming forward to tell me their side of the story. That is exactly what I said to you in response, and I am more than happy to provide the people watching this video the evidence, proving exactly what I said, because unlike you, I'm not lying, and I have nothing to hide.
Oh my god, these YouTube essay bros trying to get dirt on you. He's like, care to comment?
Like
I
acting like the
know.
police.
Yeah,
Who
what
made
the
you the
fuck?
boss of everything?
Investigative journalism on YouTube.
I'm gonna let you go on this one.
It was so funny.
I'll let you go.
He's got like 11 followers on Instagram and he's like got a post of me and I'm like, I mean, thanks,
Oh
babe.
my god.
Fuck you, Chloe. How dare you talk so much smack? I'm just doing my best out here, and I don't have 11 followers on Instagram. I have 16, bitch. Also, I find that little jab a bit hypocritical of you. Didn't you say you never berated or claimed to be better than anyone? If you really want to talk about analytics and numbers, I'm more than happy to do that with you because I love this shit. Want to talk about the fact on your actual YouTube account that isn't the Friend Request podcast, you only have 5 subscribers. You know, the account you made all the way back in 2015, where you have an unlisted video called The Lot, a 2-minute and 14-second clip that I watched and is not just confusing considering there's no actual plot to this short film, but it's also dog shit. Don't think I forgot about you guys pimping these nuts. On the Hookup Podcast Instagram profile and YouTube channel, you guys share a pretty large following of 69K and 1 million subscribers. But on your personal accounts, Pip, I noticed you only had 11.2K followers. And Dee, I noticed you only have 24.3K followers. It's respectable, but on my personal Instagram account that has nothing to do with my anonymous persona, I have 22.6K followers, which means I have more followers than our good friend Pip, and not that much less than Dee. So I'll give you a point for that, Dee. But when you compare our engagements to our followers and subscriber count, the Hookup and your personal accounts are receiving not even 1%, and people are not engaging. So, to quote this commenter that left a hilarious comment on one of your most recent episodes of the Hookup, nobody wants to watch this crap. Still think it's funny? Hey Chloe, just out of curiosity, how many followers do you have on your Friend Request Instagram account? Not more than 22.6K, and if you didn't post your podcast clips to both your main account and podcast account, that number of followers would be much lower, since you barely receive any comments or likes unless you're talking about YeahMad or Onlyfans, and the only person commenting on pretty much every single one of your posts is your mommy. Same goes for the Hookup. Do you really think your followers and subscriber count would be as big as it is if it wasn't attached to Triple J? I mean, compared to the other content they're producing on their channel, those videos on average are getting 40K, 20K views, whereas your most popular episode only has 4.2k views, 4 comments, and 36 likes. That's way below average. But since you're all such smart ladies who are also influencers and think it's fucking hilarious to make fun of the guy with 11 followers, you should know that followers really don't mean shit if nobody's engaging with your content, so ha ha ha, pip these nuts, losers. I want to take a quick detour though, so let's circle back for a quick second because I think it would be fun to watch Chloe's magnum opus titled The Lot. I just have one quick question before we get into it. Why the fuck did you need a whole ass production team for this short film? The video we are about to watch has a director, an original scriptwriter, an adapted scriptwriter, 2 cast members, an assistant director, a director of photography, a production designer, a costume designer, an editor, and a sound recordist. If you're wondering why I'm asking this question or the relevance, trust me, you'll be asking the same question after watching this because I'm going to react to this whole video. Right off the bat, how the fuck can you expect me to take this short film seriously with 100 fucking people on this production team and the royalty-free music being used at the beginning is the generic Bensound Sound audio titled Jazz Comedy? Also, why does the music cut out at the most random spot, a quarter of the second right before it transitions to you fixing your hair in the mirror, instead of fading out or, at the very least, continue playing in the background but at a lower volume? Jazz Comedy is 3 minutes and 14 seconds long, exactly 1 minute longer than this entire video, and Jesus Christ, what the actual fuck is it with you and always having the shittiest lighting? I mean, fuck me. I've heard a lot of rumors about Ben McCarthy being this terrible guy that treated you and the rest of YeahMad cast so horribly, but at least the dude provides some goddamn LED lights for your video shoots, so you didn't have to look like fucking Carrot Top if he was Batman hiding in the shadows.
Hey. Hey.
Hi.
Hi. Hey.
You ready to go?
Yeah, let's go.
One sec. For you.
Thank you.
Alright, we should go.
I don't know about the rest of you, and maybe Chloe could provide some form of information by telling us what's going on, but I don't understand what I'm watching. Chloe's dressed as a kebab for some reason. She hands her boyfriend a box with a piece of paper that just says indigestion, and she tells him to let's go to, I'm assuming, a costume party, even though he's not wearing a costume.
Don't you like it?
I love it. Yeah, I love it.
We're gonna be late. You okay?
Yeah.
What's up?
I think I need some space.
You and me both, buddy. I can't stand spending hours a day for, at this point, months, researching this fucking criminal anymore when I've already provided the evidence that Chloe did in fact lie to her followers and stole $10,000 from hundreds of strangers. Do you know what it's like to be referred to as the rando wearing a Guy Fawkes mask claiming to be anonymous when I've spent years talking about real fucking scumbags like David Miscavige? I'm so happy that this is the last video I'll ever have to make talking about this talentless and unfunny person that tells jokes for a living, has a podcast where she sits on the floor in her pajamas and believes she's a witch. Yeah, sure, Chloe. You're a real Ronald fucking Weasley if instead of going to the wizarding world of magic, he lied to his followers and stole $10,000 from them.
What do you mean?
I'm really, really sorry.
Are you serious?
Really, really sorry.
Okay. Me too. Are you still... Okay. I gotta go. I'm gonna be late.
Listen, I get this isn't supposed to be a Martin Scorsese piece, but is this really what they taught you at Queensland Academy for Creative Industries? This was the best they could do? My advice would be just go back to singing, because I've listened to your music, and you're a much better musician than you are an actor. Except for the recent Christmas song you posted, because it makes no sense musically, and the song changes time signatures. I might not know comedy, but I do know music, and I cannot stand when songs change their time signatures unless it's done right, like an opera or a show tune. If I had to put that song in a category, it would be considered pop, and pop music rarely changes the time signatures, so the only reason she made it was so that she could wear basically nothing and get attention, because her followers went from 175k to 171 in 4 months. So, I'm not surprised it took you 2 weeks to write this piece of crap with very little effort put into it.
Well?
What?
Are you gonna give it back?
No, what?
Give it back to me.
But you gave it to me.
You just broke up with me. Well, thanks for everything.
Wow, hilarious. I really enjoyed watching you hop away in that sexy little kebab costume and the Kaiser Soze reveal at the end to see the boyfriend character having a plethora of pieces of paper with the word indigestion. So fucking funny. Honestly though, the funniest part in this video are the last 7 seconds when the credits pop up and we get to see the entire production team that worked on this opus while Ben Sound's jazz comedy plays in the background. It really does showcase that so many people worked really hard on this video and not a single one of them thought for a second, hey, maybe instead of having 2 people work on the script, 2 people producing, and 3 people directing, maybe we could hire someone to stand behind the camera and hold up a fucking ring light. Or, if it's not in the budget, maybe just open the curtains so the video could have lighting. I apologize for going off script, and I promise that from here on out, things will be a bit more structured, but I'm having a lot of fun. And this is the last video I plan on making on this topic, so if I had to sit through 2 minutes and 14 seconds while dollar store Kathy Griffin provides an acting performance of a lifetime, so did you.
Well, I still
Yeah.
stand by it. Any publicity is good publicity.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. But also, I mean, like we were saying earlier, OnlyFans was made initially like a Patreon just for subscriber content, exclusive content. So it's perfectly fine.
It's totally fine.
But it was because my special was up on my Patreon as well, and it was $5 more on the OnlyFans because I wanted to put a perv tax on.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
Absolutely
Yeah,
fair.
for the clientele.
Yeah.
Who were trying to get to it.
Yeah.
I don't understand why Chloe uses the fact that OnlyFans is a website like Patreon and is used for exclusive content as if it's her greatest piece of defense. In fact, I would bet $100 that there's absolutely no fucking way she has actually read the entire OnlyFans terms of service and understood what she was reading. Because yes, OnlyFans is a website for creators to use as a way to produce a variety of all kinds of exclusive content that doesn't specifically just have to do with porn. But What nobody seems to talk about when using this line as a defense is how the OnlyFans terms of service doesn't 100% abide to certain laws and regulations, such as the automatic renewal law, or how they also use deceptive practices. The excerpt reads, "You agree to grant us a license under all your content to perform any act restricted by any intellectual property right, including copyright, in such content for any purpose reasonably related to the provision and operation of OnlyFans. Such acts include to reproduce, make available, and communicate to the public, display, perform, distribute, translate, and create adaptations or derivative works of your content, and otherwise deal it in your content. The license which you grant us under subsection B above is perpetual, non-exclusive, worldwide, royalty-free, sub-licensable, assignable, and transferable by us. This means that the license will continue even after your agreement with us ends, you stop using OnlyFans, we do not have to pay for the license, and that we can grant a sub-license of your content to someone else or assign or transfer the license to someone else. This license will allow us, for example, to add stickers, text, and watermarks to your content, to make your content available to other users of OnlyFans, as well as to use your content for other normal operations of OnlyFans. We will never sell your content to other platforms, though we may sell or transfer any license granted to us in the terms of service in the event of a sale of our company or its assets to a third party. To put it in simple terms for the non-lawyers, when you agree to OnlyFans terms of service, you are agreeing that you are giving OnlyFans full usage rights to your content, including but not restricted to photos, videos, and text. You are also agreeing that you will not get paid for granting OnlyFans a license to your work. You are granting OnlyFans permission so they can use your content even if you leave the platform. You are agreeing the licensing of your content are part of their assets if they choose to sell their company or parts of it, and you are acknowledging that you understand that at any second, OnlyFans could sell the licensing of your content to a third party, but only if they choose to sell or dissolve the company, aka claim bankruptcy. But sure, Chloe, OnlyFans is a website just for exclusive content and will never betray you or their creators' trust. You is so smart, you is kind, and you is so special. You should definitely talk more about things you have no fucking knowledge on, and I'm sure your followers and subscribers would love hearing more about your hot takes and wise wisdom since you're basically Master Yoda. Truth or dare you will play with me, so friends we can be. The rest of the episode's nothing special. I mean, for a 33-minute podcast, it was 20 minutes of Chloe talking about the controversy, trying to sound smart, and painting herself as a victim as usual, while also making excuses to justify why she stole the money and not owning up to any faults of her own. Every single response Chloe gives during the episode, it's just a deflection and another lie, because instead of talking about lying to her followers about the content she was producing being sexual content, or even showing the screenshots or screen recordings she claims she has, she'd rather respond by calling it a perv tax, which, believe it or not, is not a real fucking thing and a terrible joke for someone who has committed fraud. The only time in this episode where Chloe takes any form of ownership over the situation is when Pet makes a statement about how Chloe used to do sex work, and Chloe states, "That's definitely why it's part of any conversation with this kind of audience, because I stupidly let that cat out of the bag." Of course, she then changes her tone by stating how all her old content on OnlyFans was deleted, but someone leaked two things on a website called The Fapping, where Jennifer Lawrence had her nudes leaked, so she felt like a star.
Well, you actually used to do OnlyFans and you were doing like sex work on there, right?
Yes, many years ago.
Yeah.
I mean, many, like 3, 4. I guess it's not that long, but you know, we live many lives. I was, and so that's probably definitely why it's part of any conversation around me with online stuff, getting this audience, because I stupidly let that cat out of the bag, I think, like on some viral YouTube thing that I did. So since then, a lot of people have been like, oh, where's her old OnlyFans? Oh, she should have an OnlyFans. Oh, she used to have one. Let's find it. It was all deleted, but someone did find it. Someone did find it and put it on a website.
So
It's
like leaked all your old content.
only 2 of them. Only 2 little things. They're short. Don't go look for them. But I will say I was younger and I do look all right, so I'm not mad.
Yeah.
Also, it was on The Fappening, and that is the same website as Jennifer Lawrence, so
Wow.
I mean, I felt like a star.
Chloe, you're really not doing yourself any favors by claiming you struggle with self-promotion without feeling like a twat, because to even compare yourself to being in the same category as Jennifer Lawrence is super narcissistic. Jennifer Lawrence is an A-list celebrity who won an Academy Award for Best Actress in Silver Linings Playbook and was nominated for 2 Academy Awards for Best Actress in American Hustle and Joy. She was also named one of the most 100 influential people in the world by Time magazine in 2013. She was the world's highest paid actress in 2015 and 2016, and she received a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame in 2018. Your relevance is for being the ginger from the viral YeahMad video, scamming her followers, telling jokes about eating disorders, and having tits. If I had to compare you to a celebrity, you're as famous as Stephen Anthony Lawrence, who played Beans on Even Stevens. And even that comparison is being very generous, because you're definitely not as entertaining as him, and you're only as funny as Amy Schumer is, because sure, some people might like her, but the majority fucking hate her. So when I compare you to Stephen Anthony Lawrence, I'm not comparing you to Beans. I'm comparing you to this version of Stephen Anthony Lawrence. Also, if someone leaked your content and you knew the website it was posted to, you could have very easily reported it to either the website's admin to get it taken down, or gone to the police if you wanted to press charges on the people leaking your content for going against DMCA and or non-consensual pornography. It's not that hard of a process, because even if the uploader made a fake account and used a fake email to post your content illegally, the police are still able to track the IP address to the uploader that posted your content. Or, if say the person who leaked your content was using a VPN to protect their IP, the process can be tricky, but despite what people might believe, VPNs meant to protect you from strangers tracking or stealing your information are not 100%, and if the right person knows how to do it, they could very easily find that information in, I don't know, a week and a half? You see, boys and girls, I'm going to try my best to explain this as simple as possible. Every single device that uses the internet has an IP address, which is essentially an address like on your house, but on your devices that use the internet. VPNs, proxies, or even using Wi-Fi at your local coffee shop cannot protect you when your device is using the internet. So, if you use the incognito mode on your phone to look up something illegal, thinking the FBI wouldn't be able to see exactly what you're searching, the ISP still knows you're using the internet, which means your IP is still being used. Now, hypothetically speaking, and I can neither confirm nor deny for legal reasons, but let's say you are a complete insane person who enjoys making Chloe look like a dumbass. You could create a program where you can ask it certain questions about the millions of IP addresses the VPN has created, as opposed to going through every single one individually. It's an extremely long and boring process, but the program can locate a pattern of numbers that show up multiple times and pinpoint the exact location and device of the person using the VPN to protect their identity. For example, you could ask the program, how many of the IP addresses are unique? Which will most likely give you an insanely large number in the thousands. And so you could ask the program to show you the top 10 IP addresses used, which will narrow it down to a couple of VPN addresses and the actual location of the device that was used to leak said content. After that, and several boring steps involving more coding magic, you are able to confirm the email linked to the website, and you can finally know the people involved in illegally distributing content to multiple websites. So I'm sure the police could figure it out sooner if you, Chloe, actually went to the proper authorities to press charges against the people stealing your content and illegally distributing it. Because in your eyes, I'm just some rando claiming to be anonymous, and you definitely don't want my help to make an actual criminal case. There's no way you'd want to know that in this hypothetical, after confirming the emails attached to the website that leaked your content, I was also able to locate the social media accounts linked to the emails, and yes, they do follow you on Instagram. So, do with that information as you'd like, since you claim this happened 3 years ago, and you won't be able to press charges if the statute of limitations expire. Did I mention this is all hypothetically speaking, and I definitely didn't do all that for legal reasons. You can't tell, but I'm smiling under the mask to add dramatic effect. After this, Chloe mentions the reason she stopped doing sex work and moved on to solely lying and scamming people about a product she's advertising as pornographic content is because she started a serious relationship with comedian and designer Jason Lingard. And since I'm mentioning the guy, I've only got one question for this dude. Why are you dating this bitch? Because you're actually a talented artist that makes beautiful designs. I mean, just look at this photo and then look at the design he made out of it. You're telling me you wouldn't want a cool ass poster print like this? Everything about this is cool, and you know what? I'll pay $200 to make thumbnails for my content. We already know I blocked Chloe because I didn't feel like entertaining any more of her lies. But I didn't block you, Jakey, and you're more than welcome to DM me anytime since I have no quarrel with you.
Wow, what a horrible thing to happen.
Yeah.
Is that kind of why you maybe quit OnlyFans, or like tell us about that and the whole experience?
Yeah, I mean, no, I quit because I got into a beautiful, loving relationship. Yeah, we're monogamous, and I do have a limited amount of sexual energy, you know, and I want to put that into my relationship.
Again, the rest of this video isn't important. I mean, sure, there's this dumb story Chloe tells about how she fucked some bartender on a stage after a comedy set ended and everyone had left the bar. They fall asleep on stage together even though he lived above the bar, and basically Pip and D's nuts continue to occasionally chime in, not having reviewed any of the evidence about the controversy. They speak about the situation from a strictly biased point of view because they're all friends, and they stroke Chloe's ego by showering her with compliments by saying stupid shit like, "Oh my god, you're so badass," or "Oh my god, that was genius and men are so dumb. Hashtag girl power." It's a shitty episode with not even a 1% engagement. The only parts about this episode that are important and you actually need to watch through is from the beginning until about the 9-minute and 26 mark. After that, it's just talk about monogamy, having a very low sex drive, being a bisexual witch, and having a mom that's also a bisexual witch. And then they play some middle school sleepover game that lasts 13 minutes long. I want to remind you, this is a 33-minute podcast where the last 13 minutes is them playing a game, 9 minutes of them talking about the controversy, and 11 minutes talking about a low sex drive and being a bisexual witch. I would honestly rather hate watch the Talk to a podcast or Fresh and Fit talk about anti-Semitism for a couple of hours than listen to Pip and D's nuts talk about subjects they have no actual knowledge on, or the friend request where the host sits on the floor talking about nothing while occasionally using some clickbait title about a subject she might talk about for 5 minutes with her comedian friend that almost nobody has ever heard of in a fort where the tinsel behind her guest has slowly been falling for weeks, and ends the show playing Truth or Dare. Yeah, very interesting. And you know, there's a reason the friend request is struggling to hit that 2K viewer mark, more than 100 likes, or even a couple of comments where they're mostly asking about the OG crew and could literally give 2 shits about the topics discussed during the podcast. Ooh, he has 11 followers. It's so funny. Yeah, well, not to slam my dick on the table, But my YouTube channel has almost 100% engagement with over 5K views on both my videos on you, 200 likes, barely any dislikes, and a shit ton of comments, so your move, bitch. Because I think it's so funny how you have 18K subscribers but a less than 2% engagement. I get it. You're trying your best, but hey, numbers don't lie, princess. If we're going based off the analytics, since you brought it up, the popular opinion is on my side, and they like me a whole lot more than they like you. Sure, they stay for you, but they come back for me. And if you really think it's so funny, how many dislikes do you have on your videos? What's your watch time this month? And is your subscriber count going up or down? You're right, Chloe. It's so funny. Let's move on, because now I want to talk about something serious, which is the most credible DM I have received from a former follower of Chloe that proves she lied to them about a product she was advertising. Before we actually get into the DM, I want to quickly remind people that @ChloeMaddren is Chloe's Instagram username. Chloe has admitted to engaging in a conversation with me through Instagram on the Hookup podcast, which means she admits this is her Instagram account. The username from my DMs match the usernames in the DMs these individuals screenshot and send to me, where Chloe lies to them about the product she's advertising, and Instagram does not allow people to have the exact same username as someone else. So, despite Chloe claiming she never sent any DMs to her followers where she sent them or advertised her OnlyFans as sexual content, she has not once provided any actual proof to back up these claims, even though she has stated she has the screenshots, she has the screen recordings, whereas I actually do show you the proof. So, the message I'm about to show you was in fact sent from Chloe's Instagram @ChloeMaddren, and there's no arguing if whether or not this is fake or not. The DM starts as usual compared to the DMs I shared in my last video, where this individual asks Chloe if she has an OnlyFans. Chloe responds by confirming she does in fact have an OnlyFans, and when the user asks what kind of content she's producing, Chloe actually goes into full detail of what kind of content she's selling, which involves all kinds of different sexual activity. The individual pays for her OnlyFans, and when he sees he's just been lied to, he reacts aggressively using vulgarity towards her, and Chloe responds by stating she's a comedian. What did they expect? The individual responds by stating he expected exactly what she advertised to him, and before blocking him, Chloe ends the conversation by telling him it's not her fault, and it was their fault for assuming she would be selling porn. Here's the big issue, Chloe. I know you probably thought you were being smarter than this person and could excuse your response as being sarcastic and joking, but where you fucked up was telling this person in graphic detail of what you were selling, and even if you were joking, they still believed you, paid you for said product, and when they called you out for lying, instead of saying something along the lines of, "I was joking, obviously because I'm a comedian, but I'll send you a refund if you want," you shifted the blame onto them, painting yourself as the victim in classic Chloe fashion, and you blocked them. It is very clear in this message, you lied and used deceptive practices with the individual because they did not think you were joking and took what you had to say seriously, which is a major violation against the Australian Consumer Act. I understand you might not see this as a big deal, but allow me to paint you a hypothetical and a very real situation that could happen to anyone. Let's say you go shopping and the store's advertising that if you buy 3 cases of soda, you would receive a free coupon for 50% off your next purchase. You buy 3 cases, and after paying, you didn't receive the 50% deal. So, you go back inside to talk to customer service, and they give you some excuse like, if you didn't give the cashier your phone number or email, you wouldn't receive the coupon. Or maybe they give you an excuse like, the coupon goes straight to the app, and if you don't see it, you'll have to call the number the app provides because there's nothing we could do in store about it since it's a corporate issue. In reality, some stores just tell you this because they have no actual intentions of giving you a coupon and they want to trick you into buying more product from them. This is what we call false advertisement. And that is exactly what you have done by telling this person all these things they would be getting if they purchased your OnlyFans and then not producing said content so you could just take their money. Do you understand how you fucked up? Because I personally don't know how much clearer I could be. You lied, thinking you were being funny. This person paid you money for a service you had no intentions of ever producing. You misled them. They fell for it, and instead of offering them their money back, you played victim, blamed them, and blocked them because you're a fucking criminal, a narcissistic coward who's too scared to admit when you are wrong. And you've built this idea that because you're a comedian, a podcaster, and a woman with a large following who gained recognition from a viral YouTube video, that you're this untouchable juggernaut, when in reality, you're not. I've proved you wrong on 3 separate occasions now, but you're still playing stupid because you really think in your mind you've done nothing wrong. You have, Chloe. You lied. You stole money. You've continued to lie, and you fucked up. Own it, because I promise you, until you do, my community and I are going to not only expose you, but every single person associated with you that encourages your criminal activity. Before we end the video, where I address Chloe personally, I would like to provide some advice to the people who were scammed by Chloe and sent me messages about causing her harm or wishing her to die. As I stated in our messages, there are much better and smarter ways to handle this situation. If you were scammed, or if you're upset by the situation, the best course of action, as I stated in my original video, is by talking. I am not a police officer, nor am I a lawyer. What you can do as far as pursue legal action against Chloe, since I have received responses from multiple people asking, what's the point in making this series if nothing is going to be done and she's just going to get away with it, is if you go to the official ACCC website, you can file a report against Chloe for going against Australia's consumer laws. And if enough people affected by the situation were to file reports against Chloe, the ACCC would be able to build a case against her, especially if multiple people were to file complaints. So, as far as a report goes, you would just have to go to their website, write a bit of your personal information down, explain in detail the events that happened between you and Chloe as far as her misleading you into purchasing a product she had no intentions of ever actually providing. You could send them screenshots of the conversations between you and Chloe. You could add the links of Chloe's September 3rd post where she admits to fraud, as well as a link to the Hookup podcast episode where she also admits to fraud. And you could even add the link to my second video where I provided irrefutable evidence proving Chloe's lying to her followers about the situation as evidence to help them build their case. This is the best case scenario if you wish for something to actually be done legally and won't get you in trouble for doing something fucking stupid. Now, it's that time where I get to address Chloe personally. Hi, Chloe. I want to ask you a simple question. What did it feel like when you went on the Hookup podcast? Did you feel like a badass? Or like you really showed me? Well, I'm sorry to say, but the only thing you did do by talking about the situation and making a joke out of it was make me angry. And I don't like to get personal with my work, but this entire situation has become personal. I've been nice to you in my last 2 videos, despite what you might think, and now look. Instead of following the advice I gave you, which was make an apology, you decided to once again go on a podcast glorifying the fact that you committed fraud, but where you really messed up was not just by insulting the people you scammed, or even me for that fact, but you disrespected Anonymous, which means you fucked up much worse than you possibly ever could. I have given you chance after chance to admit to what you did, and for fuck's sake, I wasn't even telling you to refund every single goddamn person you scammed. All I asked was for you to be honest and tell the fucking truth. And what did you do? You made a joke about it. You made a joke out of the people you scammed. You made a joke out of me. And you made a joke out of Anonymous. Look where that has landed you. I know it's hard to face the truth, but this isn't a fucking joke or a game anymore. And there are people so upset by what you did, they don't even want an apology. They want to hurt you or see you dead. And some of them even make claims that if you actually go through with this tour, they plan on ruining it for you. I don't want you to die, Chloe. I have no intentions of ever going to one of your shows or even conversing with you about this situation because I'm fucking done. What I want, because I know that you will never apologize or admit you made a mistake and will continue lying, is I want you to live a nice, long life. I want you to grow old, and I want you to live with yourself knowing that every time you walk up on the stage to perform your little comedy, someone in that audience might just know you from your prank, and they might just be there to do something about it. I want you to live the rest of your life knowing that you really fucked up when you chose to go against Anonymous, and that your actions have consequences that doesn't just affect you, but everyone around you, like Nikita, Cordelia, Jesse, Tammy, Lorenzo, Isla, Lisa, Megan. The list goes fucking on. And don't think for a second the other people in your life won't be affected, like, oh, I don't know, Jacob. You'd be amazed at how many Lingards there are connected to just one public profile. And let's not forget, your comedian friends that you invite on your podcast also have public social media accounts that you advertise on YouTube and Instagram, so all their personal information can also be collected and distributed across many communities and forums that despise you and only want to ruin your life. The only person you have to blame is yourself, Chloe. So don't you dare fucking blame me for the choices you've made, because I'm not the one who decided to piss off the rando claiming to be anonymous. Remember? The hackers and activists that wear Guy Fawkes masks? That's what you said, right? Do you honestly still believe that I'm just some rando wearing a Guy Fawkes mask? Or do you want to shut the fuck up and listen to what I have to say? Because this isn't a prank, it's your real fucking life. Here's what's gonna happen. You have two options. You can continue living carefree, thinking this is all a joke and que sera, sera. Or you could take advantage and use the email I gave you to contact me directly, and maybe I'll be nice and help you. All you have to do is make a public apology for lying and scamming your followers. You will delete your videos advertising the fact that you stole $10,000 from them. You will have the Hookup episode deleted from the Triple J channel, as well as any shorts, reels, or posts promoting the episode. And you will make a very generous donation of all the money you scammed from your followers to any charity of your choosing. You will do this before your American tour, and if you don't, just remember this situation doesn't just affect you, but everyone associated with you. Lastly, and because this is our last video, and I'm feeling a little romantic, I'm going to do something I've never done before. Chloe, I'm not just some rando claiming to be anonymous. I am as real as it fucking gets, and I wear my mask proudly. I told you, don't fuck with me, because unlike every other person you block or delete their comments, I don't take that shit lightly, and I'll fuck you a lot harder than you'll ever fuck me. Time is ticking, and your options are very limited, so I'll say it again, don't fuck with me, unless you want me to fuck with you back, because I'm smarter than you. I know the law, as well as how it works. You can't touch me, and I'm the last motherfucker you want as an enemy. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is E, and we are anonymous. We are Legion. We fight corruption, we fight for the truth, and we fight for freedom. We do not forgive, and we do not forget. Expect us.